Is promoting yourself online every day good promotion? Or are you just setting yourself up to feel guilty? Oh yeah, good day mate, and how the bloody hell are you? Welcome to In the Back of My Head podcast, episode 87. It's a creative journal where I ramble on about creativity or whatever's in the back of my head, try and make some sense of it, try and get rid of some clutter, try and get on the straight and narrow. More than anything, try and calm myself down. Try and get out of my own head, try and get on with the task at hand, and try and just feel more peaceful in a daily life, especially when trying to be creative. And I've been thinking recently a lot about long-term projects and constantly telling people what you're up to, what you're working on. Be that when you're having a pint with a mate, be that if you're sharing it on Instagram on the daily or on the weekly. Having something to show for it, having something to share. When someone asks, what are you up to? What are you doing? And you say, well, mate, I've just started this huge project. Or I'm thinking about this huge project. I've got this idea. It's been rattling around in my brain for years, mate, but I'm finally going to put it to paper. We all have a mate, I'm sure, who has told you 1,000 times over, mate, I got a big one brewing. Man, I've got ideas. Wait till you hear the album. Wait till you hear the insert project here. I've got an idea for a short film. I've got an idea for a board game. And then every day you hear about it, you're like, yeah mate, sure. And it never comes to fruition. You never see anything about it. And I guess right off the bat, I kind of want to say that I think it's good to get excited and tell everyone about it. To tell your mates, tell your close mates about big projects, about big ideas. Just spitball, see what sticks, see what lands. Get their feedback. See their excitement and use it to fuel your own. If you need to get over that hump of just actually starting a big project, then sure, maybe talking about it is actually going to help. When you see their eyes light up, and you go, oh shit, my mate's excited, I should actually follow through with it. But I think we get lost. I get lost. I've seen others get lost, wander aimlessly when it comes to people's perceptions of us. Be it our mates, or be it online mates, or online quote-unquote audience. You get obsessed with their perception of you even before you've even done the thing. Because it's terrifying to put out a piece of work and have people be like, ooh, terrible. That's shite, mate. We're terrified, which never happens. Never happens until I think you get to a certain echelon of an audience, creativity, of notoriety, then you will get some critical feedback. But I think in the early days, everyone's just going to be like, nah, mate, good stuff, yeah, good. Just good to see you doing it, you know? Everyone will be like, nah, that's fucking brilliant, even if it's shite. So I think it's silly to be worried about what people will think in the early stages, because generally speaking, people won't tell you. And rightfully so. I think it's good to keep, unless exactly asked for precise feedback on a thing by someone, best to keep critical feedback mostly to yourself when people are starting out, to encourage the journey to continue, for the improvements to be made over time. Allow people to just make stuff, especially allow people to just make stuff that's not bad, but amateur. I've only ever made amateur work. Amateur sounding, amateur looking, amateur everything. Presentation. Being amateur. In all circumstances considered. Appropriately so. Given the financials, given the money going into it, given the time going into anything. But even before we put out that piece, that project, whatever, the final product, we still get in our heads about what are people going to be thinking if I don't follow through with the thing I said I was going to do? Be that as simple as, you were going to those open mics all the time, mate. You still doing that? You still doing that? You're still doing that is a terrifying sentence. It's a terrifying question that gets thrown at us. Are you still doing that? One that I've encountered so many times. One that I've probably thrown at people so many times. And one that I see affects people around me quite a lot of, are you still doing that, mate? Are you still going to those open mics? Are you still drawing? You're still writing poetry? And you go, I've been busy. Nah. I'd love to be, but I'm a bit busy at the moment. Bit consumed by other things. I'm a million miles away, mate. I can't get to it. I can't get to the open mic. And it's a funny guilt. I feel like it's a funny guilt that we feel when asked, are you still doing that? As if we've let them down, as if we've let someone down because we didn't go to a thing or didn't do a thing. I suppose because it's a form of social isolation in a sense. If we're social creatures and we all crave to be accepted by the group as a whole, at large, then when someone says, I like that thing that you did, mate, I really, really dig that one was really good, you should do more of that, then you feel like, am I about to be ostracized? Am I about to be forgotten? Am I about to be left behind? Has my social value gone down? Which, when you say something like that out loud, if you were actually to think about that, of course that's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to think. It's a ridiculous way of looking at things. It's a very tangible way, though, I suppose, of showing some sort of value in some way. I made a thing that you like. Here's a thing that I did and you liked it. I'll do it again for you. Would you like me a little more then if I did that again and again and again? Would you like that more? Would you like me more? Would you like me more? Creativity is fickle. We are fickle. And I feel like there are very few people. I think most people are actually generalists and fickle in the way that they create on a whim. Things last momentarily, our energy lasts momentarily, our interest lasts momentarily. And for those who stick to one thing for a long time, an entire career, or even just over the course of multiple projects, is somewhat rare to have that level of focus, to have that level of determination. And I think it usually goes hand in hand with a few external factors that we often don't think about. We often just really put it on ourselves of like, I'm not doing the thing, why am I not doing the thing? And a huge one that I often think to is community. Is that though I am a solitary artist for the most part, I enjoy working by myself, alone in this room. For the most part, I tend to gravitate easier towards the things that I have friends in, that I have a sense of community in. And the best example of that I've found especially is the poetry scene. The poetry scene are where my mates are. Those are the people that I want to have a yarn with. Those are the people I want to sit and have a pint with. Those are the people who make me laugh the most. Those are the people that inspire me the most. And that I get to geek on with their work. I have that too in the music scene. But especially in the poetry scene is looking at others' work and going, holy shit, these guys are beasts. These guys are masters. I am friends with some bloody incredible poets. And Lord, oh Lord, does that help me stick with it. Write more poetry, but also write more rap. It makes me want to make more music because I want my writing to be better for that stuff. It really pushes me forward in that realm. Whereas I did a project that I really, really liked. I'm very, very proud of it. It was one of my, I think, best projects that I've ever led. There was a lot of hands involved, but this one, I was the main drive behind it, and that was the band. That was the band behind my hip hop album that played for my album launch of Liminal, and also we released a project called Sticks and Stones. And I've had so many people, so many mates, just mates of mine, just people say, mate, that was great, that was bloody brilliant, that was something special, there was really something special in that. Are you still doing that? Are you still involved with that? Are you still pushing for that project? When's the next one? You still doing that, mate? And I like that question. If you've asked me that question, don't worry about any sense of guilt that I'm feeling, because after doing a lot of thinking around it, I just feel good to hear that like people like a project. But when you sit down and think about what project you actually have time for, what project you actually have energy for, what are those external factors that push you to pick one over the other? And I think with the band, and I've spoken on this before, ages back, but what I think pushes me to not choose that project again is the social coordination. The social coordination it takes to put together a band and go out and seek gigs and organize rehearsals and hang out with people. Because the people that I find easiest to hang out with are the poets, and so I'm pushed more to just go deeper and deeper into that world of poetry and put more poetry into my music. Whereas with bands, I just find it so effortless to work with the current band that I'm in, Kelsey Jean and the Bad Health, because I get to hang out with my best mates, and I get to hang out with people who are also driven and capable, so it feels like a real team effort. And then we go and play with bands that are also good mates of mine, get to hang out with amazing people. I like that scene a lot. I like the people I get to work with a lot. And the people that are also in the hip hop band Superstructure, we're also good people. I realized as I was saying it how the words could be twisted. But rather it's which one came first is a big one. How are your social batteries looking? How are your social batteries looking? And how much more have you got to give for a new project like that? And so in the case of leading my own full band, where I have to be the main drive, haven't got it. Haven't got enough of it. I just haven't got enough in me to do that kind of thing. Now in the case of Superstructure, in the case of those projects, those were actual final products that went out. People have seen that. People have seen something that they can actually tangibly experience. A music project that they can see the cover, they can stream it on their favorite streaming service. And so when someone asks you, are you still doing that, mate? To that's an easy one to say, like, hey, I already did the thing and I had a good time. A project lives as long as a project lives. And especially if you put something out and you feel accomplished and you feel like the project lived out its days, and maybe it will return. That's the other thing, you never know when it's going to return. But for the time being, that's on the back burner. Whereas the one that I think really gets people, and gets me, is, are you still doing that, mate? To ones that you never put anything out for. And the big one recently is video games. I chatted a bit about it on this podcast, and I posted some stuff on Instagram, and I told everyone because I was excited as hell, and I am excited as hell about making video games, learning how to make video games. And early on, I was focusing mainly on the 3D modeling, and so I had something to show for it. And that was fun, it was exciting. It's the part I enjoy the most. So it was easy to be motivated while working on that stuff. And it was also easy to share, because then you've got something to share, something visual, something tangible to actually show people. And now I'm in the stage of, first of all, I've slowed down a lot in terms of time spent on learning video games. Solely based on either being busy, but also, motivation comes in waves. And so that initial wave, the initial excitement, obviously is going to be the greatest. That is going to be the main wave of excitement, of energy that you get. It tapers off from there. But also now I'm in the process of learning coding. The unfortunate reality of learning how to make video games is that you have to learn a code, which for some people works beautifully with their brains. That's how they think. They want to learn how that logic works, and it is a different way of speaking. It's a different language. It's a different form of logic that you have to learn. And for my brain, it hurts so much. Where the tiniest little imperfection in your code will break everything. I forgot to close the brackets, and so the whole thing falls apart. But I'm in that process. I'm in that process of learning coding for video games just through YouTube tutorials. I've taken myself back to school. And the thing about going back to school in this form is there's not a lot to show for it, and it's not particularly exciting. And I am someone that has been addicted to sharing stuff online and in person, but mostly online, as frequently as possible, and I've done it for a long fucking time. And I'm now trying to get myself out of that mindset of everything has to go on Instagram. I still talk to people a lot about stuff. I still put this podcast out, which is just me having a yarn, yapping about what I'm up to creatively. So, realistically, not too much has changed. But we're encouraged. We're encouraged to share as much as we can online. And it's addictive. And it's a good thing to do. And I don't mean in terms of like everyone should make content, like content. I think it's good to share with your mates. I think it's good to share with your friends. But things like Instagram, things like, I don't know, Twitter, I guess, TikTok, YouTube, any of the social media platforms are addictive, both in terms of use, but also in terms of putting things out onto those platforms. You can get addicted to it. You get addicted to the high of number go up, likes go up, views go up, yada yada. And it is a form of insanity if the definition of an insanity is repeating an action again and again and expecting different results. For how many times can you share something on Instagram or share something on YouTube, share something anywhere and expect it to take off? And it never does. And so you think, but the next one, it's a slot machine. It's a big slot machine. But to be less cynical about it, when you're just sharing with friends, when you're throwing stuff up in your stories and you get your mates and your family and yada yada liking your stuff, I think that's actually a very good thing. And I think social media is a form of it, but it has always existed. That's why we take photos when we go on trips and show it to our folks. That's why you buy souvenirs. So look, I went to the thing. I went to the place that you've seen in the photos. That's from there. Look at that. I go, oh, yeah, cool. Wow, nice. Or it's why you go to an open mic night or a poetry open mic night or anything you share with people. Or you gift your art to friends. It's good to share. But the version on Instagram is very immediate. It's stories. It's your daily. It's your... What are you up to right now? What are you up to right now? Tell me exactly what you're up to right now. So that I can tell you what I'm up to right now. Look at me. Look at me. Please look at me. Look at what I'm doing. Which is addictive, but fun. And can be oh so good. But I think there's two sides of how it can work for you. Maybe three. And the third is the one I want to get to, which is indifference to a degree. Indifference of how long a thing takes. Indifference in how long it takes. And indifference of the timeline. That if you start now working on a big project and you go all in for a little while and then you bail and it returns years later, that's fine. That's good. That's part of it. You'll come to it with fresh eyes and a fresh idea and a newfound energy. You'll ride that wave of that initial energy again, and they'll taper off. And then it'll come back, as it always does, in waves. I think the one way, and maybe the more common way, is when you share these things of the things that you're working on. Look, I just started this new project and I'm going to do this. This is the thing I'm going to do now. And then you get guilty because you're thinking about it in terms of a promotional tool. Look at the thing that I'm doing. I want this thing to do well. I want eyes on it. Good to do. Necessary, I suppose. Easy to be consumed by. Then the other valuable way that works for some is the motivation, is the accountability. I think that first way is really good for those who are easily self-motivated, those who like to throw themselves into projects and dictate how much time and energy they put into it quite easily, those who just find it easy to dedicate a lot of time to creativity and to just doing projects, things, anything. They find it just like breathing. I count myself very lucky in that sense that I am one of those, that I have just formed a habit early on of doing this. I know no other way. And so throwing stuff up on Instagram isn't really changing how much time or effort I'm putting into things, but it becomes an addictive routine of attempting promotion, but being completely mad about it, completely insane about it. But then, for others who struggle to self-motivate, perhaps telling everybody that you're going to do the thing and sharing the thing as you start the thing is really good at motivating you, because you feel culpable. You feel that you have a responsibility now, that you have accountability to people, to your mates. I said I was going to do a thing, and by God, I'm going to do the thing because I keep telling people about it. I have to do it now because I keep telling people about it. If that works for you, I think that's probably a good thing. If you're being conscious of that and don't get too attached to just doing a thing because you said you were going to do a thing. Because that initial excitement is very exciting. That's a terrible sentence. That initial excitement is intoxicating. It can also be blinding to actually how much energy you have to give to a project long term. It can also be blinding to how much you actually enjoy the process. You like the idea, but do you like the process? I'm intrigued to find out at some point, do I actually like the process of making video games enough to follow through with it? I like 3D modeling a lot, so I'm hoping that that's going to be my driving force to get things done. The coding, less so. But if I can get some basics down, then it might be enough to make something out of it. That initial excitement is intoxicating. But I want to continue to work on not being beholden to either of those things when it comes to sharing stuff, be it online or in person. Tell ya, hey, I'm working on a thing, I'm excited, buy it. But also, I'm going to take a break from it for ages, for years potentially, who knows. And be careful, I suppose, with long-term projects, bigger projects. If you're just doodling and posting up a doodle once a day, I used to do that. Every single day I would post a little drawing, and that was good because the drawing didn't take too long. And it's a visual medium, nice and easy to share. But then I think I get addicted to projects that have something to share pretty frequently. Music's one that maybe goes against that, because that one can happen a lot. That one takes a longer time, but I've also been doing it forever, so I guess I'm used to it. Video games I find daunting because there's not too much to talk about, to share at these early stages. And that act of sharing on social media is addictive. So I need to break out of that mindset of sharing frequently, because it might disincentivize me in following through on longer projects, potentially. One that's fun, that has come back up, which I took a break from, but I went all in during COVID, really poured a lot of time and effort into tabletop miniatures, and suddenly, I'm back. And again, a couple of external factors came into play. A bit of extra cash back, thank you ATO. And a couple of mates are like, hey, we're pretty interested in Warhammer, do you want to play? And I said, fuck yeah mate, I'll go out and I'll buy Kill Team, Warhammer 40k Kill Team today. And I did, and I've got some little dudes here. And my painted ones are in the other room, so I won't get them, but I've started painting, and I'm having a bloody good time with it. And it feels funny with a one like that where I poured so much time and effort into building terrain and painting miniatures and playing games and all this stuff, all this good stuff, a lot of hours poured in, and it just kind of petered out. I lost that initial wave. And when that happens, you think, oh God, I said that I was going to do a thing. I even started a little mini blog, a little tabletop blog that I'll post up maybe once every couple of weeks about what I was up to creatively when it comes to tabletop stuff. I think I only did 8 of those, and it stopped. And maybe it'll return. I don't know if I'll do that. I don't know if that's going to happen again. Probably not. Way too many other things going on. But it's funny to take like such a long break and just not even really think about it. Like, I used to do that. And then, out of nowhere, quite unexpectedly, this huge wave of energy comes back for it. And here I am again. Thanks to some external factors. Getting to work with poetry mates who want to play Warhammer. That's cool as hell. A little bit of extra cash in the pocket does not hurt either. So I don't really know if I have a... as with any episode, I'm not here. I'm never trying to give precise advice, but rather just a series of thoughts on an idea like this of sharing all the time, and to be conscious of how you're doing it and what kind of effect it's having on you and on your work. I think sharing is really good. We have, of course it is. It's the reason to do anything is to be able to share it with people. And not for self-centered interests, but rather just because that is the joy of life, is sharing all this with your mates. It's that sense of community. But the way that we share these tools that we share it on, be it Instagram or be it the way that we talk to other people just in person, can, I think, have profound effects on the way that we approach projects, be they already finished, or be they never started. I'm trying to get out of any sort of schedules or plans when it comes to the way I share stuff. It's all just haphazard now. It's all just off the cuff. See what feels right today. And in the meantime, it's really about just sitting here every day and making whatever feels like wants to be made that day. And I'll keep chipping away these long-term projects for a long, long time. And if I have something to share from them, I will. Alright. Didn't have much of a plan going into this one, so I feel particularly scattered today, maybe even more than normal. So if any of that made sense, or if any of that was valuable to you, bloody brilliant. Otherwise, I do apologise for wasting your time, your precious time. I'll catch you on the next one, mate. Be well, and keep making stuff and sharing stuff. And just do it all for the hell of it. Christ almighty, I nearly bloody forgot. The last episode, the absolute bloody legend of a man, Nathan Abbey, had a listen to it and recorded a little song in response to it. So as I make today's thumbnail, we're gonna have a listen to that. Alright. Enjoy, mate. And thank you, Nathan Abbey, for being a bloody legend.
I tune into a podcast, heard somebody say, try writing in the morning every day. I took their advice, and what you hear now is the 1st of August in the year 2025. Tell me a story the best you can. All I'm trying to do is understand. Will this song go any further, or just dry up dead? It's the needle and the thread, tying together all the past songs. Another page in the journal.